It's Mr. Johns. Welcome to this first look at OnShape. It is our 3D design software that we use for engineering projects. Now, I typically like SketchUp for architectural projects, for designing structures. It's great for that, but it does have its limitations. So we move over to something called OnShape, which is definitely more of an engineering program. So better for parts, pieces, and multiple parts that can be put together and that actually move, and you can animate them. You can also change them on the fly. So a lot of power to it. And I'm going to take it fairly slowly so as not to scare you away a bit. We're going to make this very simple little metal part. This is made out of steel, and it's just a little piece, a bracket, a something, part of a mountain bike. Who knows? Just part of machinery. And um, an engineer would see something like this, and this should look familiar to you if you're one of my students. This is a multi-view drawing. So we have a top view, a side view, a front view, and a 3D view. So it should sound very familiar. My students just did this today in my classroom. So I'm super excited to see this. When I say it really is something that engineers use, I'm not kidding. So we see that these measurements here will help us understand how big this thing needs to be. My students might ask, well, why don't these numbers have like inches or millimeters, centimeters next to it? And well, let's look at the information on this sheet here. The name of the structure is called Fixture. It is made out of steel. All the units are in inches, and it's weighed in pounds. So we're not going to weigh it. I mean, that would be important if you're making a mountain bike and it has to be a certain weight, and you need this bracket and it has to be 12 ounces, for example. I mean, so that is part of the challenge. For us, we just have to worry about the inches. But once you declare that the units are inches, every number over here will be in inches. All right, so we're going to take this one baby step at a time. In fact, so much so that we're going to just make this L shape here, just the flat part too, just that L shape. That'll give us a good introduction into OnShape. So OnShape will look like this, and at first you're like, what in the world am I looking at? Well, this is really just kind of like the folders. And really, to make it look like the program, you're going to click on Create. So make sure that you have got your account that you can open up. You can find and open up OnShape. Students and teachers get a free version. Otherwise, you have to pay for it. So we're going to click on Create, and we're going to make a document. Now, all these drawings are things that we can print. So they're documents. So we're going to click Document, and we're going to call it Fixture because that's the name of this project. And also, I'm going to call it Fixture-Johns. And I would like you, if you're building along, designing along with me, to call it Fixture-your last name and click Create. All right, so now it's going to look like a design program. And so, however, it may look quite a bit different than what you're used to. If I click with my left mouse button, I can select things. I can't really do anything else. If I hold down my right mouse button, I can rotate. You'll also notice in the upper right corner that little cube also rotates. So you can also click on the arrows and rotate it using that cube tool up in the right-hand corner. And then right below that is a cube, which changes your camera views. And we mostly go back and forth between isometric and just like a normal flat view. And I'll talk about that here in a second. So got my notes in front of me so I make sure I don't miss anything. We're going to first make sure we are in inches and pounds. So we're going to go up to the 3 lines, which is kind of like File, and then go to Workspace Units, click it, and just notice that the length is in inches. We could certainly switch it over to millimeters um, or anything else here on the list, but let's keep it under inches because that's what the sheet requires us to do. And then under mechanical, the weight is under pounds, and you could definitely switch that to metric also, but right now it's pounds. Click check mark to say yes, and we are good. So first of all, we want to create a new sketch. So what we're just looking at is just a blank page. These things out here are really just, they're called planes. And so we're kind of looking at, you know, a flat plane. So I kind of think of them as the floor and the back wall and a side wall, right? So that kind of helps me kind of visualize what these things are actually for. But first, we're going to click on the word sketch. Now, a sketch in OnShape is a part or a step, and you can have multiple sketches. And this is the value of OnShape, is that you can edit just one sketch without messing up the other sketches. So first thing we're going to do is choose the front plane. If you just roll your mouse over these three planes, they turn yellow. We want the front plane selected, so click it, okay? And you'll see what it did is it put this sketch, this flat sketch over the front plane. It's like it's lined up with it, see that? And now we're gonna press N for normal. That just gives us a normal, not isometric view. Remember, we can switch back to isometric by going to this view box and choosing isometric, but N gives us normal. Also, we don't need to see the other planes right now because we're just going to make this sketch on this front plane. So press P to hide the planes. Excellent. All right, so next up, line tool. So this line tool here looks like a line with two dots on both ends. That's the line tool, so click it. And what we're going to try to represent, let me see if I can bring that back, is this L. In fact, let's do it side view. So it's a L. And if we look at these numbers here, it's telling us that it's 5 inches wide, 4 inches tall, and 0.75 of an inch or 3/4 of an inch thick, right? So the thickness of that piece is 0.75. Now these letters TYP stand for typical, and typical means it's typical for every thickness in this entire piece to be the same. So you don't have to write it every time. It's 0.75. Okay, so once we have that, we're going to try to draw that. And then don't worry about it being perfect because we're going to make it perfect later. So with the line tool selected, click, let go, drag. And by the way, the difference between click and let go is that it creates a chain of lines. Every time I let go, it makes another line. Okay. If I don't want it, I can hit escape to end it. If I want to click and drag, with the line tool, click and drag and let go, it just makes one. Okay. So keep that in mind. I'm just going to Control Z, undo all that. I want them to all be connected, so I'm going to click, back to the line tool. I'm going to click and let go, and then move my mouse. I want you to notice that it's a blue line unless it's perfectly straight. It's actually blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow. That's just a little tip to let you know you are perfectly vertical. And I'm going to guess that's about right. It looks like it's actually giving me the numbers, right? But I'm not going to try to guess. But yeah, that is about 4 inches right there. I'm really close. So click, and then I'm going to go sideways about 5 inches. So just about 5 inches. It doesn't even matter. So don't waste your time because we're going to tell it to be 5 inches. So just click. And then up here, we want to go, about an inch. 0.75 is what we're going for. Close enough. And then over, close enough, and go up. Now, I would like it to stop the same height as that, but you see, it doesn't give me any hint at where to stop. So I learned a little trick. Come over here with your mouse and just touch that dot and then bring it away. Now it knows you want to be even with that dot. It's weird, but it works. And then click. And the last thing I do is go straight over and click. So there's my shape. Now I know it's a complete shape because it turned gray. It's a solid shape now. My measurements are not correct. They're close, but they're not correct. So what we're going to do is go up to the dimension tool. And again, you'll probably know what it looks like. It's a dimension line. And if you roll your mouse over it, even though the mouse is too big and I can't see it very well, it's the dimension tool. It's a double-sided arrow with lines. It's a dimension line. Now I'm going to click on the bottom line. It turns yellow. I'm going to click, let go, drag, click, let go. Okay. If I do it, click, let go, drag, let go, it's going to ask me for a new measurement. In this case, 5. I don't even have to type in inches. Remember, we are already in inches. Enter. Excellent. I'm already under the dimension tool. So now I'm going to click on this one, which I know is, so click, let go, drag, let go. I'm going to type in 4, enter. So these are correct. This is too thick. So let's click on that end, click, drag, click, let go. So it's click, drag, click, let go. That's what it is. Click, drag, click, let go. I'm going to type in 0.75. So period 75, enter. Perfect. Now I could do the same thing up here, but I'm going to show you something that might be valuable later. Well, it will be valuable later. I'm going to go up to the equal tool. So if I click on equal and then I want this one that's I know is 0.75, I'm going to click it to select it. Then whatever line I select next is going to also be 0.75, which is this one. So click, let go. So it is the same. Now, you never want to trust. So you want to go up to the dimension tool and click on that line and click and oh, I didn't need to, I just hit enter. I don't want to change it. I just want to show that, yes, it is 0.75. So there is our perfect L. It's going to become that piece at some point. But right now, what we need to do is, first of all, move it to the origin. So this dot right here is the very center of the sketch. And if we're going to make multiple sketches, they all have to be in the same location or they're not going to line up, right? So what we want to do is go up to the tool that looks like, I think this looks like a lowercase I tipping to the left. It's called the coincident tool. So it basically takes two separate locations and puts them together. So if we click it, I'll show you how this works. It's really cool. You don't even have to drag anything. So that is selected. I'm going to say I want this dot. So it's this lower left corner of the L. Click it once. It turns yellow. I want that dot to be on top of this dot. It just does it. Click, click, boom. So there we go. So now, remember, it doesn't matter that it's bigger than the sketch. We can make it as big as we want. We have the whole screen, right? And then lastly, we want to turn it back to isometric view. So I'm going to go over to the box here. I'm going to choose isometric, and because that's kind of where we started. And I'm going to call it a day. Now you notice that there is no save. So it will just save it when you click check mark. There we go. So I've got a sketch 1. This is my fixture. And I've got one sketch. And it's this one. See, when I click it, it's highlighted. That's all I have so far. But that's a great accomplishment. It's a step in the right direction. So come back and join me next time. And if you're ready for the next step, go ahead and open up the next video and keep moving forward. I'll see you then. For now, though, Mr. Johns is.